Hey everyone, this is Matt. I am the creator of this scene. I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a fairly short little cinematic scene that I made. It's my first thing I've ever done in Unreal. I just wanted to show you guys around it a little bit here. But if you're not interested in knowing kind of the behind the scenes and the nitty gritty on this, then feel free to tune out now. But thank you for being that one person who watched this video. Thank you very much. So this is the scene, obviously in the Unreal Engine here. I'm just flying around it willy-nilly as we do. I just also wanted to, before I jump into just rambling for a while, this is probably going to go on for a while. I talk a lot. Apologies. I'm a streamer usually, like video game streamer, so most of the time I'm talking to myself. So if this goes on for 10 minutes, don't be too surprised. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Miguel Alonso and Certain Things Studio. Both of those are YouTubers who I found great tutorials or footage or walkthroughs or just great videos to show how to do this sort of thing. They had worked on similar things, and I'd even talked to them in the comment sections of their videos. So thank you guys so much for replying to my comments and actually just doing great work that inspired me to make this scene as well. And of course, I should say as well, Moebius, the amazing French artist who inspired this scene overall, is fantastic work. I have the World of Adina book set right next to me right now, and I love it so much. So it was a huge inspiration for me. And this is one of my favorite shots of the bug, as I knew it as the bug while I was making it, but that's just kind of the name I give it. The shuttle, the footprints in the sand, all that. Yeah, it's a pretty cool scene to see all finished now, because I've been working on this for a few weeks now. Like I said, I'd never ever done anything like this before. I'd tinkered with Unreal Engine a couple of times, and one of the cool things about it is that you can make a scene like this and then just go, boop, let's go into it and play it as a character, play it as a third-person, character and run around. You can see some of my testing here. Mostly this was cloth testing stuff. I was also going to have the collars flap in the wind, but I was having so many issues and collision issues with that. That's why you see them clipping in the actual video so much. Anyway, as I run around here, I just want to talk about the animations in the actual cinematic. They're all really rough. I can only apologize for that. None of them are what I would say are final. They're all mostly blockouts with a few additional things in there. I just ran out of time, if I'm honest with you guys. I feel like a lot of people could sit on a project and keep procrastinating over it for ages and ages and ages, but I didn't really want to do that. I kind of wanted to put it out there and be done with it, because there's so many great new games coming out, so I kind of don't have time to be doing both. But I'm going to return to Unreal probably next month, and I've got a really cool idea for a new scene, and all the stuff I learned is going to be, great to put into use in a full new scene. This was also the first time I'd ever modeled a humanoid, modeled an organic, rigged something like that. I'd never done any of that before in my life, so I learned so much in this, and there are so many errors and so many issues with the characters in this scene, but I kind of masked a lot of them, and Unreal just looks so good that I kind of got away with a bunch of stuff. I think the worst thing is the walk animation is really stilted, but I tried to fix it as much as I could. It just isn't great. But it was my first time using a cat rig as well, so that was a lot of fun. In terms of rigging it myself, I'd used cat rigs on pre-rigged characters before, but never myself. The next scene's going to have a lot more nuanced animation stuff in it. Just wait for it. It's going to be a few months away, though, I think. You can see in here, this is actually with all of my post-processing turned off, what we're looking at here. I should have explained that while I was flicking across to it. So I've turned all of my post-processing effects off, so that does the cell shading kind of effect and the outlines. They're all turned off right here. Completely gone. And some people may be a fan of this look, the more kind of realistic look, but I love this. This is the, there we go. The outlines, the crisp colors, the sharp corners, that sort of thing. So that is Unreal Engine. Let's jump into 3ds Max, which is my modeling program of choice, and show you the final model that I imported into Unreal. This is what it looked like. It's split up into a bunch of parts. I probably wouldn't do that again either. It's just that's how I kind of visioned my way through making this shuttle. I was going through it piece by piece and just kind of building things, and I was adding things later and later and later. Some of the earliest versions of this were just the chassis kind of going in, and it's very rudimentary stuff. I'll show you some of the earlier versions as well in a second. But you can see there's a lot of detail in here. There's a lot of crazy little bits, but it's not super high poly. Talking about not high poly is this. This is the first version of the shuttle that I put into Unreal. It's got completely different looking landing legs, and the back end is way longer. It's got a much bigger engine compartment at the back there, and I completely decided to just chop that down pretty much in half and make it a much more angled and smaller one. And then from that, I made this directly afterwards, which is the much more smaller version. But I didn't like how rounded everything was becoming in this model, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to start again and go for something a little bit more geometric, a little bit sharper on the edges, and less of these round, overly chamfered corners. And that's what we ended up with on this one here. Hide those cloth planes, and you can see there's a definite evolution between them there, and it's really cool to see them all side by side. And of course, you can throw on the clay option and just get all those nice details. It's crazy when I look inside here. You can just see how much detail is on all of the consoles, which, by the way, a lot of the inside stuff, I was inspired by the old-style TARDISes from Doctor Who, so like the 60s and the 70s, 80s looking TARDISes on the inside, whether these very geometric shapes, but very got a lot of buttons and cool little doodads and things on them, which is, I think it worked really well for this scene. And you also saw the engine, which took me far too long to build as it is. There's so many little parts in there. But I think I've talked way too long. There's definitely maybe no one even listening anymore. So, that's how it goes. Thank you all so much for watching this. It's been a passion of love for me to do this project, and I'll be doing another one, definitely. I'm going to do many more because Unreal is great. I'm really looking forward to diving back in. But if you want to know anything else, if you want to ask any questions or see any of my shaders or processes or anything like that, please just leave a comment below and I'd be happy to send you screenshots or just talk to you in the comments if you want to chat about something. I am always available for that. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the cinematic, which was about 8 minutes ago. Sorry. And I hope you enjoyed these kind of behind the scenes at the end. Thank you again for watching. Goodbye.